Call to order the Central Oregon Coast Board of Directors regular session, June 18th, 2020. It's 5:35 p.m. We have a Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get a roll call, please?
Rita Eckerman,
Present.
Kevin Battle,
Present.
Peter Carlich,
I'm here.
Tim Brady,
Present in digital form.
And
Dave Brooks.
Yes.
Dave just, he's stuck at work. He said he will not be able to make it.
okay. David's excused. A quorum is present. Okay, so the first item on our agenda is the budget hearing for fiscal year 2020-21. So I'll go ahead and open the public hearing and ask for any comments. Hearing none, I will close the budget hearing, and we can consider the resolution to approve the budget, make appropriations, and impose taxes. And I guess I'll read the resolution into the record. Thanks, Tim. Resolution number 2020-20, adopting the budget. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Central Oregon Coast Fire and Rescue District hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 2020-2021 in the total of $2,206,762 now on file at the main station located at 145 Alsea Highway, Walport, Oregon 97394. Making appropriations. Be it resolved that the amounts for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, and for the purposes shown below are hereby appropriated. General Fund Personnel Services, $626,094. Materials and Services, $557,758. Contingency, $25,000. Interfund Transfers, $125,000, for a total of $1,333,852. The Equipment Replacement Levy Fund Debt Service of non-capital outlay is $91,987. Oh, debt service capital outlay, $91,987, for a total of $91,987. Building Property Reserve Fund capital outlay is $375,050, and total of $375,050. Equipment Reserve Fund Debt Service, $43,684. Capital outlay, $229,900, for a total of $273,584. Total appropriations, all funds, $2,074,473. Total unappropriated and reserve amounts, all funds, $132,289. Total adopted budget, $2,206,762. Imposing the tax. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Central Oregon Coast Fire and Rescue District hereby imposes the tax provided for in the adopted budget at the rate of 0.8209 per 1,000 of assessed value for operations, at the rate of 0.25 per 1,000 of assessed value for local option tax, and in the amount of, or at the rate of $1.27 per 1,000 of assessed value for local option tax, and in nothing for bonds. And that these taxes are hereby imposed and categorized for tax year 2020-2021 upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district as follows. Categorizing the tax. Local fund, 0.8209 per 1,000. Local option tax, 0.25 per 1,000. Local option tax, 1.27 per 1,000. And that's it. The above resolution statements were approved and declared adopted on this 18th day of June, 2020. And I have a motion to approve the resolution.
Give me a second.
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't make the motion. You
Oh,
can
you-
go ahead and make the motion,
Okay. I make a motion we accept the report,
the resolution.
the resolution.
We'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 2020-20. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we will get it signed by Tim at some point. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We have the minutes from May 21st, 2020. Assuming everyone's read them.
I can make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Was that an aye to approve or an aye to oppose?
Approve.
Okay. Motion carried.
We must have a lag.
Yes, that is for both sets of minutes.
How'd you get him in that little box?
I don't think we're going to let them out anytime soon either. Okay, and now we come to citizen participation. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board on any concerns or issues? Okay. Staff presentation.
Okay, for May 2020, we ran a total of 94 calls, 10 fire calls, 67 EMS related, 6 motor vehicle crashes, 1 water surf rescue, 8 lift assists, and 2 other assists. As compared to May of 2019, we've ran more calls this year. We're at 2020, 396 calls total for 2020. 2019, it was 317, so that's 79 calls ahead of where we
Wow.
were.
Isn't that weird since
Yeah.
That
most
is
everybody,
weird.
aren't they dialing calls?
The last 2 or 3 months, it looked like we were running considerably behind, and then it started to pick up again.
Huh.
And over a wide range of things too, not just.
Right,
yeah.
right. So that's my staff report.
Okay.
Assistant Chief Mason, you have anything? Staff report?
Training's starting back up and we're starting to pick up hours again, and so as long as we are allowed to continue to do training, we should be moving forward from here.
Very good. Okay, do we have a volunteer report?
No, we're gonna be able to just have our first meeting coming this Tuesday, so next month we'll have some stuff.
Okay, very good. Finance report.
We finished the month of May 2020 with $859,774 in the account. Compared to last year, we had $777,812 for a growth of $81,961, or just a bit over 10%. So moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
And adding to that was we had current and previous levied taxes that were collected at $834,137 for the year, and we budgeted $75,036. So we're $84,137 ahead of budget, which
Wow,
pretty
Wow.
substantial.
that is huge.
Never seen quite a jump like that before.
What do you attribute it to?
The economy until COVID-19 came around. That would be my guess. To note, we had Silet's Charitable Fund. We received $8,921 for the gear, I guess that's what you call that. So that helped too. Items of note, we didn't really have any major expenses in the month that we booked or paid out. We did have, we moved the Chiloquin engine, the old ladder, to the Dalles for some work, and that was $1,500 for that part. We also had station promotional, which is actually booked in this month, is $3,072 for truck lettering. And equipment testing of $3,799. Other than that, we didn't really have any.
Well, and the equipment testing is kind of a standard
Yeah,
thing.
it's an annual.
Annual, yeah.
Hose and ladder testing, and then we'll be
Right.
doing pump testing next week, so there'll be a charge for them.
How are we doing on getting rid of a couple of the fire trucks?
They're at the Dowels now, and the ladder truck and the engine, and they had to do some repairs on those. Now with our intergovernmental agreement with CO Rock, we're considering that they could use this Chiloquin engine.
Okay.
So,
And they end up bringing it back.
yeah, so it's gonna come back next week. It's not gonna be sitting in the city hall parking lot. But, one of the places we lost some points with the insurance service office review was not having a reserve engine. And so we were able to, starting July, as I mentioned last meeting, go from a class 6 in the Walport area and 8R, I believe it is, in the rest of the district, to a class 5, with lower number being a better rating, class 5 for ISO. We were pretty close to a class 4. We had some, a reserve engine would have helped us, and then there was some records that with the training officer, the assistant chief, now we can get that up to speed, so. So that's the thoughts on the Chiloquin engine. We've talked to Chief Sakaris about it, and they definitely would be interested in us sharing that.
So if we're sharing it, then it would still qualify as a reserve engine for us?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
For both departments.
Does that also mean sharing the expenses?
That's something the oversight committee will need to address, and we've got, I'm gonna mention that later in my G's
Okay.
report. We have a tender, a water hauler, at Station 1, but we got more credit, instead of a reserve engine, which it also is, we got more credit because it can hold water, so we elected to go that way with it, and so then that left us without a reserve engine. You can't double dip on that, unfortunately.
Okay. So can I get,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the financial report as presented.
I'll second it.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the financial report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Can I get an approval to pay the bills?
Approval, or I make a motion to
So
approve
moved.
the expenditures. Sorry,
You can second.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded
Okay.
to approve paying the bills. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I'm going to assume that was in favor. Motion carries.
Yeah, you gotta give me a little bit of a break there.
Yep. Do we have anything under correspondence?
Nothing by mail, and I've been sending out frequent emails to the board with different special districts announcements and newsletters and things they send out. Also updates on the COVID-19, any information. You're probably sick of seeing it, but I'm going to continue to send it just for your information.
Still important information, yeah. Okay. Under old business, Tidewater update.
Tim was going to, he reached out to Lincoln County Planning and Code, right, Tim?
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 What?
You reached out to the planning department.
I did, but they didn't reach back.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Okay, I'll try to follow up on that. I'll get with Tim and well, can't really make a trip up there, I guess.
I don't think they're open. You gotta call them or
Yeah.
email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep trying to get a hold of John. I can get you his email too.
Okay, I think I have it.
It normally takes a couple weeks for him to respond though, to be honest with you, so.
And one of the questions that Tim was gonna ask him, is because with the Tidewater property, because it's existing, do we have to meet all the, have the seismic studies and everything done? And the answer I got from him was yes, because it is a public safety building, which is different than a private building. So anything we do, then it has to meet more stringent standards.
What if we break the lease and we move the trucks out to a garage for a couple months and then it's no longer a public building and Mr. Nias can then do whatever he wants? We'd have to move him out of there anyways, break the lease, and then after that's over, then we buy the property. I mean, kind of like the University of Oregon, if you read the article, what they did with their track stadium is technically none of the funds were coming from public money to pay for the facility, I guess. So I don't know if that's going to work here. But they basically sold the property to another entity.
Yep.
They built the stadium, and then that other entity, after they were done building it, sold it back to the University of Oregon.
And when I'm sure they had to go jump through the hoops and made sure it was legal.
Yeah.
There's also another method too that it could be considered, and that is a group like Friends of the Earth, only it's a title, Friends of.
Yeah.
And they are allowed like to receive money from the federal government, and then it can go, it's like a go-between.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe you can hit up SDAO and see if they've got any like randos ideas that other fire districts are using to be able to.
Well, I could see the concern if it were a manned station, but it's not. We're using it to store equipment. And
Well, that's true if it were called a storage building, but it is a fire station, and it has to be called a fire station for us to get
For
ISO
ISO.
credit for it, so.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like an extra $30,000 seems excessive.
Of course it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, that's just to have geological surveys and seismic surveys done. But my understanding in talking to the people with Lincoln County, no matter, even if we were to go buy another piece of property, we would still have to do all those studies on it.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I can understand that, but
Yeah. I mean, if there's just a way, I don't know. I mean, I think at some point we're just going to have to bite the bullet.
Do we have a committee on this?
no.
I think Dave's been pretty much heading it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I would try. Maybe. I mean, my thought is try one more month, see if we can figure out a way around it, and if not, I think we just have to bite the bullet and eventually do it. I mean, if there's no way around it, there's no way around it. Eventually, we have to do it, right? I mean,
Well, here's the problem with it. That's just phase 2 of the study.
I know.
The study's got 3, and it could go to 60 grand.
But, if we don't have a station up there, then it hits everybody.
Oh, I totally agree. I want a station up there worse than anybody.
Yeah, I know you do.
And then we, Assistant Chief Mason and I, we located some other options for property, but,
Right.
and no matter what we do, we still
Right.
have to get the existing
Although
building
if we-
back to, repair the roof and whatever.
Right.
And then we
no.
would still have to do the seismic and all the studies and surveys on any property before we built on it.
yeah.
Although a new piece of property wouldn't have some of the inherent problems that this property does.
Well, that's true.
Necessarily.
That's true.
Proximity to the river and the whole gas station.
And we've located
Problem.
one that still meets the mileage requirements and things. We have not contacted the owner of the property, but we've looked at it. It's got power there, it's got water there, and then so some of the things that we lack other places.
Well, let's look at this next month. Let's see what we can dig up.
Yeah.
But I'd be for hot putting it on this and seeing what options we might have.
Yeah.
and determining that between now and the next meeting.
Well, and the longer we wait, I mean, price never goes down,
No,
so.
no, it won't.
But it seems like it's, whether it's 2 steps forward and 1 backwards, or 1 step forward and 2 backwards,
Right.
it's getting frustrating for sure.
I mean, even if we walked away from the location there is now, we'd still have to renew the building back to condition-wise.
Right, at the very least, we'd have to put a new bladder on the roof and then remediate the water damage that has
What
been
about-
caused over the years.
You know, I know, I'm not an expert on building fire stations, right? I mean, I don't know if any of us are, for that matter, not like we built a bunch of fire stations in our lives. What about hiring that company we were talking about, maybe hiring to look at other locations for this station and seeing if they would be able to help us out and see how much that would cost as well to have them
Yeah,
facilitate it?
the
maybe?
McKinsey group that I had contacted before, so,
And I mean, if we could pay them 10,000 and it saves us 20,000, we're still ahead, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I don't know, it might be something to explore as well.
Assistant Chief Jamie, he's been running around and been finding pieces here and there.
Yeah.
So there's options,
Yeah.
definitely.
and something else that Jamie's looked into, and we've talked to Peter about, is any construction we do, there's seismic grants available to help do that, but
Right.
in either case, before we can build on any property, we have to have these studies done.
Okay.
And that's all I got on Tidewater.
Tammy, you got anything to add to this?
No, I think it's stuff we've kicked around before.
Uh-huh.
I think we're on the right track. What you guys are saying is on the right track.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, do we have any items for new business?
No. Thanks for the cookies, Jan.
Thanks for
We get a
No,
chief's-
don't say that, then they're, hey, where's my ribs at?
We get a chief's report?
Yes, ma'am. I emailed this out last week, but I'm kind of breezed over it. As the board knows, we had our budget committee last month on May 21st. We're still practicing all the COVID-19 precautions, and it appears that the precautions are going to increase next Wednesday. Is that correct? That anywhere you go, you're supposed to wear a mask. We've had some pretty significant medical calls that we responded to where gowns and gloves and masks and eye protection were used. So we have meetings frequently, telephone conference calls or like Tim's doing, and just to try to stay up to date on
Chief, when you
acquiring
go,
protective equipment and things.
when you go out onto a call, how is the call made to go with gowns and the other? Are you notified that the individual's sick, or do you
Well,
make that
we-
determination?
We know what we're dispatched for, whether it's a chest pain or a fall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the call takers with Willamette Valley Communications, they screen the callers. Okay, does the victim have any COVID symptoms? Are they running a fever, or do they have a cough or cold, or they have a whole laundry list of questions they ask them,
Okay.
and then they advise us. If it is a possible COVID case, then one responder will go in with full protection on and put a mask on the patient and
Uh-huh.
hopefully be able to walk the patient out
I see.
and into the open air, as opposed to having 4 or 5 people inside a building.
Just wondered how that procedure works.
Right, and the ones that we can't do that on are the ones that are unconscious or in cardiac arrest, and then that means all hands on deck and people are
Yeah.
wearing the appropriate protective equipment.
Okay.
Going down the list here. We already talked about Tidewater. I met with Dan Cutter, the new city manager for Walport, and I do have a report for the board in executive session with some discussions that Dan and I had about our existing fire station here in Walport. Finally, Have you noticed the new lettering and the striping and the logos on the, looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks great.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Kevin's just laughing behind his mask. Chief Mason came up with the design, and the Walport High School and their principal, Amy Skirvin, thought it was great, and so I got their approval, and so got the Fighting Irish that we're doing a shout out to. Yes, we had our monthly fire defense board meeting by phone today, and then it was followed by the annual wildland update that we normally do and spend all day doing it and have an exercise, but it was all by teleconference today. We're gonna, once the restrictions lift, and we're gonna try to have a tabletop exercise, but that's, and also discussed when we're gonna close burn season, and it appears now that June 30th will be the last day you can burn, and then July 1st it's officially cut off.
Okay.
And now that's for debris, yard debris and yard waste burning. You can still have campfires and things. We're not going into a complete burn ban as we have in years past, and that will depend on weather conditions. Starting to get a crick in my neck because I'm not used to looking this direction. We finalized the paperwork for the USDA grant that you recall we've been jumping through hoops on this for a year and a half, almost 2 years. That's where we purchased power rescue tools and some equipment for our self-contained breathing apparatus and some turnout gear.
50-70 split, something like that?
60-40.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I got everything submitted again and notarized and whatever we needed to do. And so once it's been sent to Holly supervisors, and so we should be getting a check for $60,000 from the federal government.
Tim, are you okay?
Yep, just yawning, sorry.
Didn't
Oh.
fall over.
Okay. Kind of an awful racket coming from there.
Probably got
Oh, I
COVID.
was moving something out of my way on the desk.
Okay, well, we all heard it.
It's just a paper bag, but they make a lot of noise, so. Okay.
God, even when he's not here, he's either clicking his pen or changing wrappers. Tim? Besides the USDA grant, if the board recalls, we sent a truck and crews to California for a conflagration last November, I believe it was. We have already
yeah.
paid the overtime involved with that and the staff time and all the expenses associated with that. We were notified today that the state of California has now sent the check to the state of Oregon, and hopefully before the end of the budget year, we'll get our payment in the amount of $26,166.68.
Wow.
So that'll be kind of like money from home.
Yeah.
Chief, when we get money like that, I realize it took almost a year for us to get it, but we got it. That's the
Right.
main thing. That 26,000, what would it cost to offset that? In other words, if it had just stayed here, we wouldn't have made any money on it, the rigs. Did it-
Right,
was it-
if we don't send a truck, we can't charge for the truck.
Was there a cost to us to have those guys go down there?
Yeah.
Right. But we've already paid that. We paid the payroll, we paid the overtime, and then they reimburse for all the time spent. Captain Martinez at the time went down there, and so they paid to cover his shifts while he's gone and pay his overtime rate while he's down there. But of course, we already paid all that out, and now we're just finally getting reimbursed for it.
So, are we coming out square? Are we coming out ahead?
Coming out.
We're coming out ahead because the cost of it's wear and tear on the vehicle to the only expense, because the truck itself, I think it was $45 an hour or $55 an hour from the time it left Walport until it got back to Walport. So
Okay.
and it was, I think they were gone for 13 days or something like that.
Yeah, we paid out $10,443 plus payroll taxes, so somewhere in the neighborhood about 14,000.
Yeah. Any gain is a good gain.
The last thing I have, we're trying to schedule a meeting for the Oversight Committee. Dave's on that and Tim's on that. So I do have Seal Rock's 2 board members, and it'll be Chief Sakaris, myself, and Tim, and either Dave or Rita. Rita's agreed to at least step in, or unless somebody
Yeah,
else.
if Dave's not available, I've agreed to step in, so.
And we're trying to schedule that for next week. I think Chief Mason sent out a
Survey Monkey.
yeah, that too.
And if you're not available or don't, have something else cooking, I'd be glad to take that
Well,
spot.
unfortunately, when I took the survey, I was available for all the days and all the times, so.
Okay.
Yeah, she told me that. I said, well, interesting.
I want to do whatever we need to make this happen.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be done by telephone, which makes it a little easier.
Oh, it's phone.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Tim's gotta be by phone?
Oh,
And one of Seal
And-
Rock's,
yeah.
one of their committee members, who's their board chairman, is also a high-risk group for it and does everything remotely, so.
So,
I like to look at them.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I like to look people in the eye.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple things for executive session.
Okay.
okay, Tim, do we have a president's report?
I don't have anything extra to add, no?
Okay. Do we have anything for good of the order? Okay. Well, we do have 2 executive sessions on the agenda.